Good morning, Jenny and Beverly and Bethany and
Good morning.
Vicky.
Good
Oh my
morning.
goodness, we got a crowd hopping right on.
Dude.
Got a
Yeah.
new look. I didn't realize that the overlay was going to be on the video, so I have to mess with that a little bit more. So got a new look. We're side by side instead of one looking down on the other. I forgot how that was when we were stacked. Whoo! Jim, we might have winter this year.
It's warm today, but yeah, the forecast is not encouraging for Bermuda shorts.
Jose's on. So
Good
Jim,
morning,
are those your
Jose.
new glasses? Are they?
Yes, they are.
Do they?
They work well.
I I saw it looked like
Yeah.
you had to do the magic thing to get just the right focal length right there. Yeah.
Oh, I still do. Yeah,
Debbie's
graduated
on. Good
lenses.
morning,
But
Debbie
at
and
least there's a spot in there.
Cynthia. Got a
Hey, good
got a
morning,
crowd
Cynthia.
going here,
Debbie.
man.
Yeah. Bethany, tell Sam,
As
hey.
long as that crowd doesn't turn into a mob, we'll be okay.
They can't reach us from
So
here.
I wish I could say, Jim, I'll look for some photos that I've taken, but I wish I could say I took that photo and put it in the background, but I didn't. But that could be maybe. I mean, I don't know. We have that kind of view with all the mountains.
That's the yeah. That's the view
Is
from the
that it?
parking
Yeah.
lot of the church.
Facing
Yeah.
Mad Jacks. No. So gosh, reboot church edition. You were already on the ball. We were chatting just a little bit before, but so before we get to where you started, you nailed it earlier. Well, I'll come back to it,
Hmm.
but I want to ask.
Okay.
So what would be what's the need to reboot? And we'll talk churches specifically because we talked uh, personal back in early December. But so why would churches need to reboot every now and then? What's the why would you need to do that? What would be the need? I watched Top Gun Maverick not long ago, and it reminds me that I feel the need for speed. Remember that was in the first one. Mhm.
Talk to me, Goose.
Um, by the way,
Well, getting up every morning reminds me that one of the needs for a reboot is that the people who are currently attending get older and die.
well, so this is something that happens to me a lot. People will say, and they usually ask me like on Sunday. So what do you have going on this week, or what do you have going on Tuesday? If they want to get together,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I, man, you got to know, and everyone, you got to know. My whole week, Monday starts like this, and it just narrows and narrows and narrows and narrows to the point on Sunday morning, right? So I kind of do a reboot every week. So I get in on Mondays and then figure out what my week is going to look like. I don't know. I mean, there are some things I know, like Cynthia and I are going to go out of town. We're leaving in the morning and going to Houston for VBS training. I know those kind of things, but if
Yeah.
you ask me, so what am I doing next Tuesday afternoon? Um, Everything will come to a point on Sunday. Then Monday I hit reboot and decide what So what's my week gonna
Yeah.
look like?
And on a micro scale, you were talking Sunday about rebooting to get back to the mission. Uh, every 10 minutes, I get distracted away or in conversations, get distracted away. Like the Bible study last night, Leo was talking about letting the devil get a seat at the table. Okay, shoo him away, get back to the
Yeah.
mission.
Um, and so yeah, the big idea is really kind of the main point. I think the main reason that churches would need to reboot is sometimes we need to reboot to get back to the mission. And it's easy to get off. I use this example, probably overused it, but it's my life. Whenever I'm trying to do something, and it happens at the church too, when I'm doing a project or something, this can happen to me. I can be working on some graphics or something, and I can go to get a cup of coffee, and 45 minutes later, sit down at my desk and go, I didn't even get my cup of coffee. I mean, so it's
Yeah.
easy to just with the stuff that just comes up, it's easy to forget what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. New tools
Yeah.
with you, Josh. Cool.
The three things that I use and on the graphic, I got it wrong and didn't fix it, but three things that I think of that will help us to reboot, and that's what we're going to do just in every area. And I think maybe it's a yearly thing we need to do, and you kind of hit on it already. It should be a continual thing that we do, but is to evaluate, formulate, and adapt. So evaluate. What should we be doing? How well are we doing that? The business thing is how's business, or what's our business and how's business. But so to evaluate that and then formulate what tweaks do we need to make? Is there something we need to do differently? Is there something we need to do better? I was watching just a short little video earlier today. This guy's talking about churches and social media, and he said, keep the best, forget the rest, and make room to test. Leave room to test. So that's something that we need to. We need that. That's just a good thing to use just in everything we do. So man, if it's working well, keep doing it.
Yeah.
If it's not, don't do it or fix it. Change it. But then always.
Yeah.
Always leave room. Yeah. To experiment a little bit. And something that I've said a lot since I've been here is we're going to try some things that won't work. Don't worry. If they don't work, we're not going to keep doing them, Although VBS training. Oh yeah. So we go, this is the Vacation Bible School Institute that's put on Jose. And then in March is when we go around our state doing the trainings. So yeah, we're you got to plan ahead. It's crazy
to stay on time.
And I tell you that. So the bad thing, like with VBS training, we'll chase this rabbit real quick, but that storm that came through brought us snow on Thursday, and then brought everybody else ice and stuff. As it went east. They had a VBS training this week, this Thursday, Friday, Saturday in Nashville that they had to cancel. That's one of the only 3 in the nation that Lifeway does. Yeah, and they canceled one. So I'm thinking that the one in Houston might be really full. So yeah, we're going to that one. So this isn't even the first one. They were supposed to have one last week. And we're doing the second one. I say that 3, there's 4. There'll be one in Fort Worth too. I don't know when that one is, but yeah. So it's you said it earlier. If we do this continually, then all we're doing is making minor adjustments as we go. And so then maybe it's not a reboot. If we just like on your computer, some of you guys may be really good at this. Like if you're using a program, whatever, when you finish doing what you're doing, that you close that out. Or if you're on your browser and you have a tab open, whenever you're finished with that, you close that out. And some of you guys may be really good at that. I'm not. And one of the programs that we use to do graphics is called Canva. And Canva makes it worse for me, because when you click on something, it opens a new window. Then you click on something, it opens a new window. And I look up, and I'm not kidding, I probably have 15 little tabs open across the top. And I wonder why my mouse is kind of jerking along as it goes. I'm overloading my computer. So if we keep up with that, if that's something that we do, and the way that I said it last year, was to cultivate a culture of change. So if we get into the habit of continually evaluating and formulating and adapting, or you know, bring in new tools and review and adjust. If we're continually doing that, then it's not as big a deal. Which I think, was it Corel Draw? Which one do you like? And
Corel.
and you had one that like you bought and was on your computer. Is that right? Am I remembering this right? And you had that same version for a long time. They quit supporting it, so you had to get the new one. Was it really different, or?
Over a course of about 5 years, they quit supporting it for Apple. And when they finally decided to pick it back up, significantly different.
And that I remember the days, and I know you do too, when the days before Al Gore invented the internet, the days before computers were connected all the time. I remember this. Some of you, this may bring maybe bring back your PTSD. I don't know. But when we would go and buy, and this isn't as far back as it could have been, but you would buy a program. So like WordPerfect was the first one I remember, and it would come with like 2 or 3 of the 3 1/4 inch floppy disks. Do you remember that? And so you put it in and you do it, and then it goes and goes and goes, and it took like half a day to install a program, it seemed. And then when that one was done, it would tell you to take it out and insert disc 2. Do you remember those? Then you take it out, and so
my first.
What was it? So
was like that, yeah.
Because of that, because you had to pay a chunk of money to do that, and programs were pretty expensive. I remember, unless you borrowed one from a friend, we would copy the discs if you knew how to do that. Yeah. That was before they started giving you product keys and registrations and stuff. So, and it was expensive and it was time consuming. And so you would go for years, and at that time, the rate of increase in technology was slower. You would go for years using the same version. You weren't connected to the internet, so there were 0 updates. They didn't give updates. Do you remember that? It worked or it didn't. And so whenever you finally did, and now I'm thinking back into the Microsoft Office days. Before Microsoft Office, they were each separate. And so you would then, okay, it's time to update. And so usually it was because you got a new computer and it wasn't backwards compatible. And you would do it, and man, it was a whole new world. It took that whole same time again to learn how to do that. So one of the things that I like about the way things are all totally connected now is that you can make small incremental updates all the time, and it's not as huge a learning curve as it used to be. And that's good, but here's something that it's one of those things you and I've learned. It's attention to be managed, not a problem to be solved. So continual evaluating and updating. That's funny. I just got a note from Windows that updates are required and need to be reinstalled, but not right now. So we need to walk that fine line of continually evaluating and updating. We don't want to, if every time, and this almost seems this way, Restream has been updating a lot of stuff lately. If every time we opened the program things were different, that would get irritating, right? Especially in ProPresenter, which we use for our presentation software on Sunday mornings and our live stream. They're really trying hard to make it the best they can and add new features all the time. But we quit updating it because it seemed like every Sunday there was a new problem. Does that make sense? So it's this fine line that
Oh
we
yeah.
need to walk between continually, cultivating a culture of change, where we're continually evaluating and trying to improve and to be better at what God has called us to do, and making it so that you don't ever know what you're going to get. I mean, I love this is Pete's Major Dickinson's brand Keurig coffee, and I love it.
Ah,
Have you had that one yet? It's pretty strong. I
no.
love that because
Okay.
you put that cake up in there and you push the button and it tastes the same all the time. Now, I would not like it if every time I got a cup of Pete's Major Dickinson's brand, it tasted different. You know, so we have to
Right.
be careful.
I think Sunday you kind of mentioned a thing that I think helps that rather than just being frustrated by the change, I think we can narrow the effect of the change if we keep our eye on the task, on the mission. If every change we make is toward introducing people to a life-changing relationship, then those changes are going to fall into a pattern that's
You,
less
you
frustrating.
know, it's almost, I promise you, we don't script this out. It probably looks like we don't script it out many times, but you absolutely hit it. And this is something
Hmm.
I'll be traveling or I'll be at the conference on Friday. So Hope's going to do it with Paul. But what I want them to dig into is, so how do we do that? And that is the key thing, Jim. I
Hmm.
remember hearing a long time ago. This was John Maxwell at one of his conferences was talking about people will change when the pain of not changing is worse than the pain of changing. So
Yeah,
it
that
is,
sounds
yeah.
like
And
a good view.
I've heard that and have
Yeah.
applied that to my shoulder. When the pain of not having the surgery is worse than the pain of having the surgery, it's time to have it. But what I think of it now, particularly as we lean into next generations, if they if we can remember that the price that we pay, and that is our discomfort and being kind of caught off guard all the time, we want to do better and not to catch people off guard. But if the pain that we feel from the change, if we can remember that it's worth it, if we can remember why we're
Hmm.
doing this.
Yeah. And I think if we keep our eye on that mission, it reduces the number of necessary changes. Are we changing it just to change, or are we changing it because it makes our mission more
Right.
specific and more
Yeah.
effective?
Is it going to help us do better, or
Yeah.
what God has called us to do? And I use the example of a fishing ship or a cruise ship on Sunday, and
Right.
your expectations on going to one of those is going to determine how you handle it. If I go on a fishing ship thinking that I'm taking a vacation, I'm in for a rude awakening. You know what I mean? On the other hand, and I know people who hate cruises because they're just used to doing. They want to go and do, and there is plenty to do, but for the most part on the cruise ship, everything is done for you. If you're going on a cruise ship to work and you're going as a passenger, you're going to be like, this is so boring.
Yeah.
I go on a cruise ship to be bored. See, that's my thing. You know,
I've
yeah,
accomplished my mission.
and it's kind of like so. We used to do this. I used to go with a group of brothers, three brothers, and you've heard these stories. We'd go to the Oregon Needles and go rock climbing a couple of times a year, and a couple of different places, but primarily there. And went all around Cloudcroft. Didn't know Cloudcroft existed. At one point, we went through Alamogordo and went to the White Mountain Wilderness area to go. And so,
Oh yeah.
in order to get close to the rock climbing, which was our goal, we'd have to camp, right? And so we would everything you needed you had to carry on your back. So you were very judicious in what you carried. And man, I tell you, the ground is hard, the nights are cold, the food is terrible. um, I thought I would spice it up one time and bring dried apricots. And that first night, ate the whole bag. Don't ever do that. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. I
Good tip.
camping. Don't do it at home, but don't ever do that camping. So, and I thought, man, that's like I ate a whole deal of prunes. I guess it's pretty much like that, isn't it? So anyhow, but the purpose that we were going for was to go rock climbing. Camping was just a means to an end. That was just so nowadays when I go camping, glamping, I guess you could call it now with the travel trailer, it's to relax and refresh, and you know what I mean. And if I went camping nowadays like I used to go rock climbing, I'd be miserable the whole time. I tell you, and this has happened a couple of times to us. We went up near Wichita Falls one time to do that, some rock climbing. And we got there, did a little bit of rock climbing that night, which I don't recommend, but it was a full moon, so it was kind of a cool thing to do. We just did a little bouldering. We didn't get out the gear. And got in the two of the guys just used bivouac bags over their sleeping bags, and so they're sleeping on the ground. And the other brother and I had a tent, and it flooded. It just came down. So our tent of 2 turned into a tent of 4, and fortunately someone brought a deck of cards, or we had one in the truck, and we played cards about halfway through the next day, and we just packed it up and went home. So your expectations, I think really help you deal with the changes that the situation. And so if we can remember why we're doing what we're doing, I think that'll help to overcome the discomfort, that we have. And so
and helps us to evaluate the changes. Is this helping the mission?
And surgery is a good example. We don't have surgery because it feels good. Now I'm a weird kind of guy. I've only had 2 surgeries, and then that one procedure that you have to have when you're 50 and you do the whole body cleanse thing,
that's not a surgery. That's a documentary.
Fun story. It was I had to do a colonoscopy, endoscopy, because I have acid reflux, and they check both ends while they're there. I'm coming out of it. I don't remember this because I don't remember anything coming out. John Dalton had the same surgeon, and his surgery was right after mine. We passed each other on the gurneys. And he told me that later. He said, I waved at you and said hi as you were coming out. I said, I don't remember that. But so whenever I have stuff like that, I think of it's a good nap. But my surgeries haven't been like a shoulder surgery would be, that there's a lot of work that happens afterwards. You don't do that because it feels good. You do it because the end goal is that the end result is worth it. You know what I mean? Which is why I guess as long as I can move my arm, I might not have surgery. We'll see how that works. So anyhow, it's just good. And maybe the thing is, if we just do the small incremental changes, that it doesn't feel so big if we're continually thinking about that, being mindful that we don't want to change what door you come into every single week. Saddleback, Rick Warren gave a fun example back in the way early days, before they had a building or anything, when he was first starting out. He said their joke was, it was the church you could attend if you were smart enough to find it. because every Sunday it would be in a different place, and so they're trying to can you imagine? How do you let everybody know that? That's one of the reasons I'm so hesitant to cancel a service, for weather usually is our deal, is because there's no possible way we could let everybody know. Some people are going to show up. One of the worst Sundays, it snowed a ton. They closed the road and the power was out. Right? We tried to let everybody know. This was back when Kurt was leading for us, the worship. Dude is in High Rose, comes out. Well, the road wasn't closed there. Comes up in his Jeep, and he didn't get word, So poor guy. I don't know if he was leading or if he was just on the worship team, but he showed up. Nobody was here. So sometimes we just need to reboot to get back to the mission. But like you said, for us personally, man, if we can just continually keep our eyes on the mission, then those other things just I think will be small potatoes. I think as we go along. We'll try not to change what door you come in every week. Well, let me pray for everybody and send you out into the week. Get ready for the big freeze. I saw on Tuesday morning, it's supposed to be like 1 degree here. Yeah.
Cold.
So this may be the last time I get to wear short sleeves for a while. Let me pray for you guys. Lord, thank you that you use us, God, that for reasons we don't fully understand, you choose to use us to get the gospel to people who need to hear it. Help us to remember that that's why we're here, to lead people into a life-changing relationship with Jesus. And God, that all the other things we do are really just tools to help us to do that. They're means to an end. They're all supporting missions to the main mission. And that is so that people can know and love and grow in their relationship with Jesus. And God, help us to do that well. Father, whenever we get tired, whenever we get discouraged, whenever we, Lord, just seem overwhelmed in what we're doing, help us to remember why. And Father, I pray that, God, that in that, you would even make us more effective in sharing the gospel with people who need to hear it. God, use us in ways that bring you honor and glory and bring people to faith in Christ. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Well, thanks for hopping on. I love the digital thing. We'll tweak the look here a little bit as we go, but I like the side by side better than the stacked. Even though
pretty cool.
At first glance, people might have a hard time telling us apart when we don't have our hats. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I can't. I actually, mine does go all the way down. I just won't fill in. I've been working on that middle part for like 37 years now. 38 years. Hey, love you, brother. Be warm and safe, and see you guys. I won't see you on Friday unless I just able to pop in when I'm in Houston, but we'll make it through the week, starting back with our kids club and youth tonight. Makes me tired just thinking about it. It'll be good to see the kids again. You guys take care.
Cool.
And we'll see you on Friday.
Sounds good.